Hello, and welcome to my update of what I've been up to. So, I've mainly been making vector art for a game concept of mine. Now, this game, and I guess kind of demo, is not at all finished, especially like my other one was. I've only really put in the art that I've made so far, so I haven't really gone above and beyond and made like any enemies or made like the bottles able to throw, but I'll explain later. So, first of all, let me start this up. So this is the main menu. Um, I've heard that obviously it doesn't really look like vector art because vector art's more like smooth gradients moving in certain shapes. But I used Photoshop for this, and so one thing that I've learned that I'm able to do in Photoshop is kind of use like a gradient and a mask, as you can see in my layers right here, to make things. So like if you go to the hands, so it's like do do do. Let me disable like all of these and demonstrate. So we have like the first base color layered on the like mask of shadow. And the gradient, like as you can see, is just one solid color. So it really was the opacity of the masks that I was experimenting with. Then you have like the lighting, adding on whatever I need on top of that, adding more lighting. And that's kind of how I made it look so detailed, which I'm really proud of. Um, so, like I said, I didn't make this demo as functioning as my other one, so the exits and options don't work, but the start does. For the HUD, you have a character icon, you have health, you have a detection icon, and then you have your, not necessarily abilities, but your inventory, your item slots. So as you can see, the health is kind of like looping through an animation of what it would look like as your health decreases. I wanted it to look like a goo vial. And that kind of goes into like the background of the characters that would be in here. You have this detection icon for if you get spotted by guards and stuff like that, since this is supposed to be like a sneak game. And then you'd have potions that you'd collect around the castle to throw at guards or use on yourself to offensive, defensive ability, get your way past. Um, the character icon would change based on what character you choose. I didn't make the second character for this because that would have been a lot more complex. And as you can kind of see with this character here, Darkness, the little like plush elk, he was my first vector art, and there were already a lot of complications with him. I cannot imagine how much worse it would have gotten if I did make the second character, especially with how new I was first starting out. So he is just basic gradient and um mask, I guess, because that's basically what I knew. I didn't know you could do opacity and stuff like that. And with that complication, every time I tried to import him or copy him to a different file, anything, his gradient would just disappear and he would just be like blinding white all around and just not look good. So when I put him in Adobe Animate, it it just didn't work. He did not look like this. He didn't look like he was supposed to. So I had to make him basically flat colored. Um, I didn't have time to add a bunch of shadow and lighting so that he could look good, but the animation still came out really well. We have a beautiful little run animation. It was very interesting to do, especially because as you can see, his limbs are very, very basic. So to try and get the right motions of an elk, a deer, or whatever you want to call him running was a challenge. We have a little jump, which I think is very cute. And then we have a little death icon. Um, and then these are the objects that I made. These objects were made after the main menu. You can kind of tell because I use the lighting and shadow and gradient tools that I learned in making them. They're less flat as, you know, the background and stuff like that. But you can hop in the chest, be a little sneaker. Um, and then the bookshelf, Darkness, because he's so small, he would be able to hop on things and kind of hide up top, while the other character would have to still like sneak past the guards normally as a more human being like character. As you can see on the bookshelf, though, we have little mementos from my last Pixel game. Uh, so we have like little items. We have some items that I actually didn't demonstrate in the game as well, but I think it's really cute. And that's pretty much all I have for vector art and the progress that I did. But I'm really proud, and I think I learned a crazy amount of things about it. So, thank you.